I would like to start this episode by sharing one of my all-time favorite psychological experiments. This experiment, conducted by Timothy Wilson and colleagues, involved asking participants to sit alone in a room for up to 15 minutes with nothing to do except think. There were no distractions in the room, such as books, phones, pictures, or anything of the sort. The only potential distraction in the room was a device capable of delivering a mild electric shock. Interestingly, even though all participants had previously stated that they would pay money to avoid being shocked by the device, many voluntarily subjected themselves to shocks during the thinking period. Here is the summary of the experiment. Quote, "We found that participants typically did not enjoy spending 6 to 15 minutes in a room by themselves with nothing to do but think, that they enjoyed doing mundane external activities much more, and that many preferred to administer electric shocks to themselves instead of being alone with their thoughts." Unquote. In a sense, this is not a new finding. Existentialists had noted this phenomenon long before psychologists. Pascal in particular had a great deal to say on this matter. However, Pascal's thoughts are not the focus of this video. If you are interested in his insights, I invite you to explore his concept of divertissement. Instead, I would like to pose the following questions to you. Given that we would seemingly do anything, including inflicting self-pain, to avoid being alone with our thoughts, what is so unpleasant about encountering ourselves? What is this self we find so horrifying to scrutinize? And when I say self, what comes to your mind? Your ego, which is essentially a bundle of your traits, attributes, desires, likes and dislikes, or something else? Are we even aware that much of what we do is merely an excuse to avoid solitude with our thoughts? Could it be that our ego instinctively fears what it might discover about the true nature of the self through introspection? Everything around you is designed to capture your attention. Online platforms and technology companies optimize their so-called services to extract every last bit of your attention until you are completely drained. All the while, each user competes with others for a share of your attention. In supermarkets, everything from sales and promotions to the music and announcements call out to grab your attention. When you go to the cinema to watch a film, you are first half drained by all the advertisements and trailers before the actual film is even shown. Shopping malls are architecturally designed to hold your attention. Have you noticed how you are forced to navigate half the mall just to reach the escalator for the next floor, or how you have to journey to the central area or one end of the mall to find the food court? Every single arrangement is meticulously designed to maximize browsing and encourage unplanned purchases. These things are so deeply embedded into the structure of our lives that we rarely even notice them. And when we do, we usually just shrug it off and carry on. Can you even imagine what the world would look like without anything or anyone competing for your attention? This restless pursuit of your attention begins from the moment you wake and does not stop until you go to bed. By then, your mind is foggy and drained of vitality. You sleep, merely recharging enough to face the same cycle once more the next day. Now, let me pose a question. Given the reality I've just described, is there any energy left for self-exploration? Is there a window of time in your day where you can delve into your identity beyond your likes and dislikes? Who are you truly beyond your activities, anxieties, sorrows, and desires? Who is it that's listening to these words? Without dedicating sufficient space to examine these questions, how can you achieve personal growth? By growth, I'm not referring to discovering new likes and dislikes, developing new interests, or fulfilling economic ambitions. Rather, I mean the cultivation of what is unique to you, what transcends your socially constructed ego or self. That new car you're longing to buy is nothing more than a desire that society has instilled in you. That promotion you're desperately seeking is simply what is expected of you by others. The new film or music recommended to you by whatever platform you are using is so enticing because the culture industry has transformed you into a replica. You no longer possess your individuality despite an overpowering illusion of it. Since we lack true identities, algorithms find it easy to read us. After all, they are already trained on a million other copies like us. But let me ask you, where are you in all this? How can you understand your true self without providing sufficient room for self-exploration, for introspection? The less you know yourself, the more the modern economy can continue to exploit you for your attention. I am far from the first person to highlight the paradox of online platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, now called X. What these corporate behemoths share is that they are not manufacturers of any products in the traditional sense. So the question arises, how do they generate revenue? How is it possible that the world's wealthiest companies do not primarily produce anything? What is their product? The simple answer, it's you. More specifically, your attention is what they capitalize on. Attention is the raw material without which the wheels of the contemporary economy would cease to turn. If your attention is so valuable that it has given rise to such economic empires, isn't it about time to reflect on why and how we squander such a valuable resource? If your attention is so valuable that the entire global economic system depends on it, then why do we so thoughtlessly offer it to things of such little worth? Isn't it odd that we possess something so precious, something the entire capitalist economy is dependent on, yet we squander it as if it's nothing more than worthless dust? You know, volumes have been written on colonialism, detailing how greedy nations mined valuable materials in exchange for virtually nothing. Mark my words, one day volumes will be written about how we willingly allowed giant corporations to exploit us, mining our attention while they gave us only garbage in exchange. Consider the list of people you follow or have subscribed to. Don't you feel the burden of how much attention they desire to extract from you? Now, don't think my channel is an exception. I have been creating videos for over a decade and I've been hungry for people's attention like a hungry beast. But now, I ask you to consider my channel, this very channel to which you have subscribed. If you are not a subscriber, then consider some other channel to which you are subscribed. Consider it along with every other channel you are following. Do you truly need all of us? Is it genuinely beneficial to your self-development as an individual that this or any other channel should incessantly pop up on your feed or be recommended to you? Is it truly necessary for your personal growth as a person, as an individual, to be persistently drained of your attention and energy by us? Isn't there even a small part of you that's sick of being constantly told to like and subscribe? Subscribe to what, I would like to ask? To a channel through which your attention is meant to be drained? Because this is the kind of channel you are being asked to subscribe to. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel. No, for heaven's sake! You need neither this channel nor any other for your self-development as an individual, as an existing being, as a person. So please, do not subscribe to my channel haphazardly if you are not already a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, consider unsubscribing if this channel does not nourish your soul in any significant way. As you might have noticed, I have stopped making videos on a regular basis. I will not contribute further to this game that online platforms want us to play. I've already removed half of my videos from YouTube to reduce my share of online noise, and I challenge every YouTuber to do the same. That is, every YouTuber who is not on YouTube solely to drain people's attention for egoistical purposes. And when I say egoistical, I do not necessarily mean narcissistic or greedy in an economic sense. Much of the online noise is produced by those who feel profoundly insecure. The ego seeks acceptance and validation, and so it is constantly starved for other people's attention. The tragedy is that the ego is insatiable and any sense of contentment is only temporary. Cultivate the discernment to see through those who use socially acceptable forms, be it intellectualization, science, spirituality, religion, comedy, or anything else, as a means merely to validate their egos. Most channels devoted to spirituality, politics, philosophy, self-help, science, or anything you can think of are not there to help you. You, the individual who exists as a person and whose existence seeks real nourishment for growth. No, your well-being is of no concern to them in any meaningful way. Most people are engrossed with satisfying their own insatiable egos. And until I can be sure that this channel is not my way of satisfying my own ego, I have no plans to make videos on a regular basis. There are many good channels out there, and modern technology does have its benefits. The solution, of course, is not to jump from one extreme to another and completely eradicate online platforms. But how about self-regulation? How about personal cultivation? How about prioritizing what is important to you and your life? How about developing a sense of discernment? How about nurturing a sense of distinguishing junk food from real nourishment? Look at your Facebook friend list. Do you really keep in touch with your 500 so-called friends? How easy is it to find someone on that list to whom you have not written for at least a couple of years? Don't they feel like an unnecessary weight that you insist on carrying for no good reason? You might argue that you are curious to see how the lives of people you've met turn out and that's why you keep them on your friend list. But my response is, don't you see that's just another way to deplete your energy? Don't you see that's just another means of giving your precious attention to something that has zero impact on your life and well-being as an individual? Let go of your past. Close that chapter and move forward. Forget Alice or Bob with whom you haven't talked for 4 years. You don't need constant reminders of your past. Neither you nor anyone else is the same person they were a few years ago. That's all you need to know. Give your attention to what deserves it, to what's relevant to your life, to your individuality, to your personal growth. And since this is a philosophy channel, I leave you with a saying by Kierkegaard. Quote, I do not urge anyone to subscribe. I rather ask everyone at least to think twice before he does it. Unquote. Even though there was no social media in Kierkegaard's day, and even though he used the word subscribe in a completely different sense and context, I think every video on YouTube should be concluded with these words. So if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to think twice before subscribing.